Tonight on NEA Report, the performer Afroman was cited because he got high. This took place last night at the Vault, and some witness accounts that we were reporting earlier, well, they have been debunked after we've gotten the police report. However, the gist of the story remains the same. The performer was on stage, so was some marijuana, and then the police got involved after the fact. We're going to go through the entire incident report. We've got it from police, and we're going to show you what it says coming up. Plus, a burglary in Jonesboro leaves one shot. This was reported Friday, but we're learning about it today, and we're going to tell you everything we know. Severe weather's moving in tonight. It's expected before 8 p.m., and we're going to get you ready for that and lots more. That's next on NEA Report. We have some new information from Jonesboro Police Department we want to bring along to you. This is in relation to a burglary that's been reported in Jonesboro and was said to have taken place last Friday. Police say that they were called to a home on Peter Trail in regards to a burglary in progress. That was at about 12:30 a.m. last Friday. Of course, we're talking about August 18th. When they got to the scene, the victim said, this was terrifying too, the victim said they were asleep and were woke up by a strange noise. They said they got out of bed to investigate the noise and found an unknown person in their home. They confronted the unknown person, and they had a gun aimed straight at them. That's when apparently the burglar fired the gun at the victim just before running away. Thankfully, the resident was struck in the arm and not somewhere that was, more medically critical. The victim received trauma care from officers that arrived on the scene, and his care was transferred to medical personnel that arrived on the scene a short time later. Now, the victim was then transferred to a hospital in Memphis for their care, and our hopes, obviously, are that the injuries are ones that are recovered from fast. Detectives are now trying to find out more information. When they were called to the scene, they gathered evidence, but they've not made an arrest yet. The detectives are asking anybody out there that has any information about this to contact Crime Stoppers. Of course, the number 870-935-STOP 7867. You can also contact a detective at Jonesboro Police Department at 870-935-6710. That's the number for the Criminal Investigation Division. Detectives trying to find out anything they can to lead to the arrest of a home invader, a burglar willing to shoot someone after coming into their own home last Friday. This is the performer known as Afroman, and he was performing last night in Jonesboro at the Vault. It was a scheduled performance from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., ending early Monday morning today, August 20th. But it didn't end without a little bit of controversy, specifically the performer being cited for possession of marijuana. The reason is that somebody passed him a blunt on stage, the blunt being the word that was used to describe it to us, but others described it as a marijuana cigarette. When you speak to officers or performers, you get different words for the same thing. Nonetheless, they passed him something, and he apparently hit it at least once on stage, according to accounts from the Vault. And that was what did it, at least in the eyes of Jonesboro police. But we reported on NEAReport.com initially that the concert had been stopped early, and that was wrong. We correct that mistake, just as we do when we make mistakes here. All news outlets should, because we all do make mistakes. The witness that told us that was incorrect, and what we now know is the concert was, well, it was one that finished. It was one that was allowed to finish. And we know that from Afroman himself, because he actually made a Facebook post about it that included the citation itself. Look at that. This was made by Afroman just a short time ago. He wrote, "It's not the cops, it's the mosquitoes. If it's not the mosquitoes, it's the cops." That's what he said. He mentioned that he was in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and the mosquitoes were eating him up. They said, he said, people thought me slapping myself was a new dance. Thanks, Jonesboro, for packing the house Sunday night. I want to thank Jonesboro Police Department for letting me finish my show first. Pretty important stuff to get right there. And they did. Based on what we know, they did allow him to finish his show. But afterwards, here's what we also know. It was according to the police report, John Shipman, who wrote that Afroman, known by his real name Joseph Foreman, was playing, and somebody handed him a marijuana cigarette. Those were the words in the police report. It was then that he was seen taking at least one hit off of it and handing it back to a male, according to authorities. So police discussed ending the event early, but they decided to let the concert continue and conclude. Authorities started moving closer to the stage. That was what was described to us. Once the music ended, Afroman took some pictures, signed some autographs, and was taken to the vault office to speak with police. In the office, they had already recovered the roach, or the marijuana cigarette, what was left of it. And whenever it was explained to him what happened, well, the report is that he was very apologetic. That's what Officer Shipman wrote. It said that he was extremely apologetic, nice about it, and he was cited for possession of a controlled substance, less than 4 ounces, and given a court date of September 26th at 1 p.m. The roach was recovered and taken into evidence by the Jonesboro Police Department. It was this narrative that I'm actually showing you right now on the screen that we received that kind of cleared everything up, but we didn't get that until late this afternoon after our initial report had already been published. It says, and this is written by Officer Shipman, it says that he, Sergeant Owen Smith, Trey Dupuis, and others were working uniformed off-duty security at the vault. It was early this morning. During the main event, it says featuring Joseph Foreman, that, of course, being Afroman. It was inside of the club that Shipman was stationed for security purposes. And he noticed while there was performances going on, he said an unidentified male handed up to Afroman what appeared to be a marijuana cigarette. It was in this area that the witness, it said, had made contact with police and actually provided a written statement. And there's the witness's name. Oops. It says Afroman took at least one hit off of it and then handed it back to the unidentified male. At this time, there were approximately 50 to 75 fans in the section, and I was not able to see from where or who it actually was handed to. After Afroman, it says, took the hit, the smell of marijuana, and the business became strong, the sergeants decided to let him finish the show and moved up to close the stage, closer to the stage. It says closure, but he meant to say closer. And then that's when it was told to Afroman, don't do that again. Witnesses, it says, including the owner, came up a short time later. It stated one of his employees retrieved the marijuana cigarette and gave it to the owner. It was then that the officers went to the office and secured that bit of marijuana, less than 4 ounces. It says that Afroman finished the show, met with fans, and was then escorted to the office of the business, and it was explained to him what was going on. It then says right there in the report, you can see it clear as day, he was very polite and apologetic. A very important lesson for folks to learn, even if you don't like what the police are doing. If you're polite and apologetic to him, it will always help you. He was cited for possession of a controlled substance, less than 4 ounces, given a court date, September 26th at 1 p.m., and explained his rights. It says that the officers took possession of the evidence and placed it in the evidence locker at Jonesboro Police Department. Of course, we just a moment ago showed you the post itself by Afroman, and he says that he's going to be back next year. So that's a good sign. If you're a fan of Afroman, that's a good sign, right? Doesn't look like we were able to scare him away just yet with the way things are still done in Jonesboro.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
Let's look at your new wave wireless Tornadoes Weather, home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. We've got some watches across northeast Arkansas tonight as some severe thunderstorms may be rolling in before 8 p.m. this evening. Just want to let everybody know that we're going to be watching those storms tonight and, letting you know what happens and what comes out of those. It does say that there are possibilities for tornadoes, hail, and wind. We're looking at the area that's included in that storm watch right now. And just so everybody knows, I know that we go through this stuff a lot, but it's never really one of those things that I want to take for granted, because a watch and a warning, what is the difference? Well, a watch means that it could happen. We want you to know about it ahead of time, and we want you to take preparations. A warning, if those come later tonight, that means it's happening right now, and you have to take action immediately to potentially keep your family safe. Just letting everybody know those differences, because we could be going through some of those tonight, and it may be worth mentioning. The severe thunderstorm watch is across NEA, as mentioned and as shown in the graphic, and a hazardous weather outlook too. We're expecting thunderstorms to roll in tonight, mainly before 8 p.m. Expect the overnight low to drop down to around 68, and we shouldn't see a whole lot of rainfall in terms of accumulation, hopefully, which could be good. And for Tuesday, the rain is gone. Mostly sunny, a high around 84, 83 by Wednesday, and 81 by Thursday. Friday, partly sunny and a high near 86 degrees. It's 81 degrees with overcast skies in Jonesboro. Just a heads up, we're going to be watching that weather tonight very closely. Going to let you know exactly what comes out of that if anything severe happens or whatnot. Of course, we're going to keep you posted. There's a video from the National Weather Service I would like to play for everyone, because it's an update that they did this afternoon to let us all kind of know and give us a brief on what to expect tonight. Let's flip it over to the National Weather Service and hear what they have to say for everybody across northeast Arkansas.
Good afternoon. I'm Gary Woodall with the National Weather Service in Memphis, here with a update on the severe weather potential for this afternoon and this evening. Taking a look at the headlines, we do have an enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms across much of the Mid-South. The primary threat will be damaging wind from these storms. Hail and isolated tornadoes will be secondary threats. The timing of this event looks like it'll be beginning this afternoon, probably going into the evening hours. As far as our confidence, we have a high confidence that we will see severe weather somewhere in the Mid-South. Moderate confidence as far as the exact timing and the exact locations of that severe weather. So here's a look at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook. Again, enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms across much of the Mid-South. We expect the thunderstorms to begin developing this afternoon out in central and north central Arkansas, gradually move from west to east across the risk area as we go through the afternoon and the evening. And again, damaging wind, the primary threat, large hail, brief tornadoes, the secondary threat. Some of the uncertainties, though, that we're looking at in this outlook, will the atmosphere be able to recharge from these morning and midday storms that we've seen in the Memphis area and across West Tennessee and northern Mississippi? We'll need to watch for thunderstorms forming and intensifying over Little Rock and again central and north central Arkansas as we go through the afternoon. Timing of the storms, it looks now currently like we should see the storms moving into our western counties mid-afternoon, maybe approaching the Mississippi River in the 6 p.m. range or so, continuing on to the east. The type of storm, if these are long lines of thunderstorms, that'll enhance the damaging wind threat. If they're smaller clusters or individual storms, that would increase the threat for hail from the storms. So make sure that you keep weather ready as we go through the afternoon. Review your severe weather plans and how to get severe weather information. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and our webpage for the latest severe weather information.
Show you what the radar looks like. In fact, we'll get that pulled up on the screen right now and give you one last look at that before we head out the door today on NEA Report, at least head out the door on our regularly scheduled newscast. There is the chance we're going to be back tonight with more news from northeast Arkansas. You already see a few of these storms running around NEA, seeing a few rolling into Randolph County, and seeing some moving into Jackson and Poinsett County too. So we're going to watch those closely tonight. If stuff happens, we'll let you know. We're also working on several other news stories as well that we hope to be able to bring along to you here on NEA Report. It takes a lot of work to get the news together, and sometimes the 30 seconds or a minute that we talk about took us a whole day to get ready for. But nonetheless, we're glad you're in with us today. I'm Stan Morris, and now you're up to date on NEA Report. We hope you have a great night tonight.